Good morning, state of Alaska. I am Lee Butterfield. Welcome to the Den AK. This is the Den AK, where you come for all your state information on what's happening in education and for what's happening in the wide greater world of how things are rolling and going and moving and grooving. It is the, I believe, 18th of November, so we are 1 week and 1 day away from ridiculous feasting, if we have the opportunity to ridiculously feast, and I am going to eat nothing but salad and water until that day, so that on that day I don't feel guilty about what I'm going to do to my plate, because it is going to be a whole lot of mashed potatoes slathered in a whole lot of gravy, topped with a whole lot of butter, and I'm going to go to the ICU, but I won't be able to get in there because they're super busy right now. So welcome back to the Den. We're super stoked to see you. You were watching at the akden.org, thedenak.org, and you can send us questions. You can send us questions right to asktheden.org, and that is totally available to you folks there. And we are joined by a whole plethora, yes, I said a plethora of guests today who are going to rock us through what's happening in the state. Welcome back, crew. Hello, everybody. Good to see you all. We are joined by so many wonderful people. In fact, I think I have like pages and pages of people today. It's kind of insane. All right, so welcome back. Say everybody hi. We're going to kick it all the way over with show prep and move right into what's happening today, because we are on a short show today, folks. We got to keep it quick and keep it clean, because we got to get people out of here by 8:25, 8:30, so we can move on to all our different staff meetings and everything else. So bringing it right back down to the crew. Bria, will you take over, please, and rock us into the world we need to go?
Yes, so Mr. Commissioner, could you please give us any local updates that you have, or just what's new with going on in our community?
Yeah, good morning, Bria, and good morning, everybody else. It's good to see you. Looking forward to Thanksgiving next week. I hope you are too. Not a lot. I think probably you all know the news around Anchorage, just increasing cases. The governor sent out an alert last week just to remind everybody that if we're going to make things work and keep school, business, those kind of things open or get them open, then we all have to do our part. So when you visit with folks, just remind them that there's no one person that's going to be able to make all this work. We all need to do our part, wear our mask, social distance, do all those things, and do it for each other and for yourselves so that we can get back to normal. You've heard some real promising news about vaccines. Yesterday, Dr. Zink, in a conversation we had, confirmed that is indeed promising news. It's not just media hype, but it's promising news. And so hopefully in the next couple of months, you'll all be encouraged with COVID being on the downward trend instead of the upward trend. And we can look forward to, at some point this school year, getting back to normal. Last thing, government lesson today, there's a hearing of the Joint Education Committee in the Alaska Legislature where we will be sharing. So every October is when your school district does their count to count how many students are actually enrolled in what schools. That impacts how schools are funded. So we just got that data in, haven't done a lot of analysis, but we're going to be sharing that with legislators so they can be thinking about what that means in terms of budget and that sort of thing, where enrollment has shifted and how COVID has impacted compared to what school districts projected their enrollment would be before COVID and what it's turned out to be after that. So that's it's going to be a busy morning this morning, but looking forward to getting that information out for the public.
So now, is this something that folks can watch live, Dr. Johnson, or is this something we have to look at later as a secondary source?
You can do either. So it's the Alaska Legislature has a akleg, akleg.gov. You can go to their website and click on, I forget which link that is, but there's a live tab there where you can listen live to the hearing. There's also phone numbers you can call in and listen to. I'm pretty sure most people, even the legislators, will be dialing in from wherever they are. But then the recording will be on up shortly after it's over for folks that want to watch it after. The hearing this morning starts with the university. So the university will be sharing the impact that COVID has had on them. A couple of school districts will share just details about their individual districts. And then we'll share the data that we've collected from all the districts in the state.
That's fantastic. And I know that Elliot is rocking it into the chat right now because he's already, I could see his fingers looking at that akledge.gov. So that will be in the chat, folks. Make sure if you have questions for any one of our guests today that you're throwing that in the chat right now so we can get to that as we move on. We are going to move just quickly over and have some folks introduce. Maddie, did you want to introduce our next guest, please? This is...
the president of NEA Alaska, Tom Claymore.
All right, Tom, how are things going in your world?
Not badly. Thanks, Maddie, for the wonderful introduction. How's everybody this morning? Good, I hope.
Everyone gets used to this whole, like, yeah, we don't want to say anything, thumbs up moment. This is the new, like, way. We're all going to go back into classrooms in the spring, and everyone's like, how's everybody doing? Everyone's going to go, it's going to be awesome.
There's a funny meme on teaching remotely going around the difference between an elementary and a high school class. I don't know if you've seen it, but the elementary classes on Zoom, all the kids want to share, squirrel moments for, all of the young kids. And then on high school is that, it's a Ferris Bueller moment. Anyone?
Yeah, and actually when you say actual, like I have said many, many times into the camera, Bueller, only using the name of the student. I can't say here because that'd be FERPA violation. We don't want to do that because then I'd get in trouble. But they just never answer, and I'm worried sometimes that maybe World of Warcraft is making a comeback, and that'd just be terrible for the whole world. So I do understand that a lot of people are getting really good at their games right now. So that's what my classes apparently are for. So now you guys, the board met for NEAAK the other day, and how did things go? Where are you guys sitting? How are you feeling?
Like most organizations, we're doing what we can virtually. Thanks, by the way, Lee, for presenting to the board the progress on the Alaska Commons and the good work that's being done for DEED and for educators and ultimately for students in that effort. It's moving along, and the board appreciated that. But largely, we're getting ready for our big sort of governance meeting in January called Delegate Assembly, and we'll have a virtual meeting of about 350 delegates from around the state, from members representing their local unions and working on issues and discussing and debating, and that should be interesting with 350 people on a Zoom meeting, essentially.
So I am super stoked for those squirrel moments. And I got to tell you, I feel like sometimes, Tom, that maybe Tom here, he's down here now because, well, he was right there, but now he's down there. And it's really exciting. I feel like maybe you worked in the journalism world a little bit or in the live TV world because you are the master of the handoffs, man. Like, just kind of like just kicking it right over mid-sentence over to the thanks for presenting, because that brings up our next guest. I'd like everyone give a big round of thumbs up. We're joined by Lauren Fox, who comes to talk to us from Canvas over at Instructure. And she is rocking it and doing some amazing stuff with the statewide level Canvas that's being built up. And welcome, and just a general introduction of who you are and what you're doing for the state, because you're working really hard for us and we really dig it. And then kind of like what you see as some of the possibilities moving forward with some of these systems. And it's that moment, right, where we can't hear you. You get live in front of all three people, and then it just all falls apart.
Well, I'm calling in from my cell phone because it wouldn't work with my computer, so I couldn't see all that. So yeah, this was a different experience for me, but thank you for having me on. I do work with Instructure, but I'm calling from Texas, so geographically very far away from you, but at heart very close, because I've been working with Lee and Nick and a big group from DEED to make sure that regardless of where teachers and students and parents are at, that using Canvas, everybody can not skip a beat. And I think that's the long-term vision, and just strengthening the experiences that everyone's having there in Alaska with a tool that you guys can depend on. So we've been working on getting communication out to make sure that all of the teachers and everybody involved understands the possibilities, and those are those are pretty great. As Tom mentioned a moment ago, we are going to eventually have some amazing content that's teacher created available through the Canvas Commons that teachers will be able to go in and just pull right in to their Canvas courses and customize to meet the needs of students. So really leveraging that tool to give teachers an edge on, what kind of content students in Alaska are really desiring and thriving and engaging with. So I love the possibility of that. And I know Lee is geeked about that totally.
Oh.
The other thing, the other thing that's really cool is that we have actually Deed, Dr. Johnson and Tom have done an amazing job working together with NEA and Deed, making sure that everybody is aware of all of these opportunities, that it's not just one school district, it's not just one small community, that there's equity in this. So everyone's going to have access, and you don't even have to have your own Canvas instance. Lee and Nick are pulling in teachers from across the state into AK Learns, which is kind of an open platform where any teacher can start creating courses. So the opportunity is, the vision is there all around the heart of equity and making sure that students have access. So that makes me extremely thrilled to be part of this project.
And we are extremely thrilled that you are here. And now here's the big heavy hitter, right? Like, this is the one. This is the question. All of these students are trained to ask this question first, but we're asking you last because it's the heaviest question we can ask you. Lauren, what is your favorite kind of ice cream?
Oh, so that's a tricky one. I can't eat regular ice cream. So my favorite regular ice cream is Rocky Road, but I haven't found a non-lactose version that I like. So I unfortunately end up eating a lot of ice cream I don't like.
Oh no, that's horrifying. Okay, well, that's a good, we need to I never even thought of that. We have not been thinking of the lactose intolerant people out there when we ask that question. I feel like a horrible person. Yeah.
Inclusivity is a big thing.
Okay,
you
so
got to get on it.
What is your favorite frozen dessert? How's that?
My favorite frozen dessert would be ice cream, but it's lactose-free ice cream. So
Good deal. All right. So, and speaking of favorites and things like that, we're going to move a little bit into, this is a perfect time to move into a little bit of a student perspective concept. Every week we come in here and we get these perspectives about you folks about, well, how's class going, how are things, and like the last couple weeks, I got to tell you with my students, things have been like, people are getting tired. I have a lot of students saying, Butterfield, I'm tired. Butterfield, everyone's giving me so much work. Butterfield, fix everything. Butterfield, put your dog out back. Like all these things they keep telling me all the time, but now we get into some questions that hopefully make things super happy, right? And I ask you this. What is your weird Thanksgiving family tradition, and how is that changing this year? Go. Elliot first.
So one thing we always do, since we don't live in state with like any of our family, so what we always do Christmas morning is we call people, and whenever they answer, you have to rush to say Christmas gift, and whoever says it last has to give the other person an extra Christmas gift.
So wait a minute, I got to back you up because I don't think I understood that correctly. You do that on Christmas morning, or you do that on Thanksgiving morning about Christmas?
Do that on Christmas morning, so then they have to send you another one, and it's another surprise gift you get like a week later.
So you just you just Kobayashi Maru'd me here. I just gave you a test, and you just broke the rules, right? Like, you broke the rules. You went Christmas instead of Thanksgiving. Now I can't ask you at Christmas what you do at Christmas because I already know. You set a trap, Elliot. You set a trap. Move it over to Peyton. Peyton, give me something that's not a trap. Oh.
I wouldn't really call it weird, but I guess what we do every Thanksgiving is we watch the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving episode. I don't know how long we've been doing it, but as long as I know, we've been doing it for quite a while.
Can you hum the theme?
No.
Then you haven't watched it enough yet. Clara, moving to you. Let's hear what you have to give us.
It's something we haven't done since we were really little, but when we tend to have Thanksgiving dinner at my grandparents' house, and they live on a ranch in Texas. So when we were little, between Thanksgiving dinner and Thanksgiving dessert, we would walk down from their house and go feed the llamas. So the llamas kind of get their dinner. Like we just like hand feed them in between our dinner and our dessert. We haven't done that in a long time, and obviously we're not going down to Texas this year for Thanksgiving. But
So, is the goal then to try and get some lure some kind of wild animal into the yard this year and see if you can feed them by hand and pretend they're a llama?
that sounds like a bad idea.
That's probably a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. Don't do that. Some of the tracks my friends have been sending me from down on Ocean View. There are a lot of big brown bears down on Ocean View right now. So let's kick it over. Hey, Tom, so a weird or odd or different or something that maybe not everybody does at Thanksgiving. What do you got?
I guess we're not very weird, aside from overeating and avoiding political conversations at the table. It's going to be small Thanksgiving, though, this year. It's only going to be the two of us. The kids are gone, and the grandkids we have one granddaughter. She lives out of state. But I guess if I could think of only one thing that we do differently than normal is that we eat dinner at about 3:00. And I guess that's because we eat so much. We need all evening to digest and know we're going to have dessert and all that sort of stuff. And usually use that time to visit and play board games and that sort of stuff. But it's going to be maybe a game of cribbage. So it'll just be the two of us this year.
There you go, cribbage. Or you could get those like yarn snowballs that they sell, right? And you can have an indoor snowball fight around the turkey, and then one will just stick to the side of it, and you'll be like, oh, I don't want that piece of that turkey. So, it could happen. You never know. I mean, at least I'm giving you ideas. Bria, don't you like deep sea dive and like kill octopus or something and then like eat them raw on the beach? Isn't that what you guys do?
No.
Oh, okay. That must have been
Not
a
at
different
all.
Bria. Okay. What do you guys do?
I don't know if this is weird, but my dad always likes to smoke the turkey on our Traeger, and it usually takes a lot longer than anticipated. So me and my sister always like run around the house and try and find appetizers to eat while the turkey is cooking, because it usually takes like 6 hours when it was only supposed to take 4. So we usually eat really late.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the rough part about using those things out here in the winter. By the way, folks, it was 3 degrees on the way to the studio today. 3 degrees on the way to the studio. It's supposed to be 30 degrees by Sunday, so 33 degrees actually. So we're going to have a 30-degree jump, and that is super cold, and I was not happy about it, but I'm still going to go out there and go skiing today. And then I'm going to kick it over to John, who's in Tempe, Arizona, enjoying the sun, and he's going to tell us what he does for Thanksgiving, which is not abandoning his people and going to Tempe, Arizona. That's for sure.
We eat hominy, which is like, I'm pretty sure it's Hispanic corn.
Hominy?
Yeah.
Good. That's your thing?
That's our thing.
That's your thing. You eat hominy.
That's my thing.
I mean, that's pretty awesome. Like, hominy to you. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to kick over to Grace. Grace is going to tell us what everybody can do for a new Thanksgiving tradition happening this year only, this weekend. And what is that, Grace? Where can everybody go this weekend and have a rockin' good time?
Well, this weekend you can come to our drive-in at South. On Friday at 6, we have Frozen playing, and at 9 we're watching Elf. And then on Saturday at 6 we have Polar Express, and at 9 we have Home Alone. And you can get tickets for those movies at www.popandriveinak.com.
popupdriveinak.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that's rocking into the chat as we speak. So come check out Frozen, Elf, Polar Express, and Home Alone. Speaking of which of you fine young people can tell me who wrote Home Alone? Anyone? It's going to surprise you. John Hughes. That was a John Hughes film, believe it or not. And a lot of people don't realize that because it was pretty epically violent. All right, so that's $25 a car. Come on in and check it out. Maddie, do we have anything in the chat today?
No, looks pretty clean.
Looking clean, ladies and gentlemen. All 12 people watching. No one had any questions, which means everyone's answering like the bombs that you are. This is awesome. And remember, you can get back to this show next week at thedenak.org, and you can send your questions to asktheden.org. And as brilliantly brought up by our special guest, Lauren, if you are a teacher who wants to be in that Deed Canvas shell or that Deed Canvas instance and be able to get into AK Learns and get that aspect and start building content and sharing it with other teachers and taking theirs back from them and utilizing that and making it all yours. All you have to do is go to asktheden.org and give us your email address, and we'll make sure to get that to the elusive Nick that we always talk about but never show you, because we keep him in a dark, dark, dark cave full of server towers, and that's where he lives, consuming the power of the server tower. And so we'll take care of that. Go to asktheden.org. That's going to be out. I want to say thank you very much to all of our special guests. It was brilliant. Wave and say goodbye, everybody, and anyone watching out there. We will see you guys again at noon today on the South Den. We're looking forward to it. You guys rock and roll. Keep watching. Keep safe. Wear those masks, because we want to get these numbers kicking down, and it'd be preferable if we didn't have to wait until vaccines got all over the world. So let's make sure we're doing what we need to do so everybody can get back and hang out and start learning. All right. Take care of yourselves. Later.